top mistakes that women make in marriage. The 7 top mistakes that women make in marriage. If you follow me on Facebook, you would have saw my post in which I shared these 7 mistakes, but I want to take the time right now to explain what these 7 mistakes are, why they are the top 7 big mistakes, in my opinion, from years and years of working with couples, marriages, long lasting relationships that have succeeded and some that have failed. I want to tell you what those are, all right? So right now, I want you to come on in. I want you to hit the share button. I want you to let a friend know that you are watching me. If you're watching the replay, I want you to just sit down, get out a notepad and take some notes, because this is going to help you both if you're single or if you're dating, or if you are married. It doesn't matter what state you're in. These 7 mistakes are critical factors that women make. Now, I'm going to do one for women and then I'm going to do one for men. But I'm going to start with you ladies, all right? Now, most ladies, come, you guys usually have a tendency of saying, well, men do that too, and deflecting it. So I just want to let you know, first and foremost, I want you to just listen and take this in. Consider this a mirror. If it doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply to you. But if you can be honest, you can say to yourself, like, you know what? I do that. I did that. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want you to be honest and I want you to take that in. All right. So before I jump in these 7 mistakes, I wanted to let you also know that my book, A Match Made in Heaven, the 6 spiritual laws for lasting love and connection, is available on Amazon. You can go to simply type in my name, Vernell Samuel, and you will find it. Also, go to vernellsamuel.com and then you can also find a copy of the book right there. It is the first of many books that I will be producing. I have another one that I'm currently working on right now, but these are the first of a few books that I will be releasing shortly in the area and realm of relationships, marriage, and dating. All right. Now, let's go right into it, okay? This top 7 mistakes that women make in their marriage, okay? So I'm going to go from 7, and I'm going to go all the way down to number 1. All right, so I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go from the 7th to all the way down to 1. All right, so what's number 7? Number 7, I want you to write this down. Not seeking out or valuing their spouse's advice before making decisions. All right, not seeking out or valuing their spouse's advice before making decisions. One of the reasons why this is a big mistake is because men take pride in being able to provide, not just financially to their wife, but provide wisdom, insight. Men like to know that their woman submits to them, not just in the area of, possibly cooking or cleaning, but in the area of taking advice. Because we want to know that you trust us enough to look for information from us, that you can go to us and asking questions and seeking advice. It helps you to humble yourself to us. So it's a form of submission when you go to your man, you go to your husband, and you ask them advice, even if you know the answer, but you still go to them to get their input. It helps that man feel like, I am important in your life. You look up to me enough to ask me questions before you make decisions, okay? So it's a respect thing primarily, and ultimately, if you know that your husband or your man is good in certain fields where he has knowledge and expertise in, go to him and ask him questions. It helps him feel respected. It helps him know that you truly honor him as the head of your life. Okay, so that's the first one. Number 6, going downwards, number 6, withholding sex and leaving your spouse sexually deprived. That is a big mistake. Now, typically, women would do this, a wife specifically, when they feel like they are being neglected, whether it's emotionally, they don't feel like they're being romanced, they don't feel like they're being cared for by their man, and so as a way or a form of punishment, you will say, "Well, you know what? I'm not giving you none." That is one of the biggest mistakes you can make, because a man needs sex to feel connected to you. So if you're looking for connection out of him, but then you're withholding it from him, he is not going to feel closely connected. He's going to feel detached. He's going to feel like the way you're feeling. And it's almost like you're saying, well, you're playing tick for tack. You need connection and romance and communication to feel connected, and he needs sex. So if you withhold that, you're also going to cause him to be withdrawn from you. And it also, if from a biblical point of view, the Bible actually teaches that it's not healthy for you to do that. In 1 Corinthians 7, the scriptures actually tell us, teaches us that ladies do not, or spouses do not withhold sex from one another, or if you do so, you will give room for the devil to come in. Okay, so and the devil can literally mean another female, another man, someone else coming in to fill that emotional and sexual need because it's been being withheld. The one place that a person is supposed to have sex is marriage. So why withdraw, or why withhold that from the person that you said I do to? It's not a smart or wise thing to do. It's not fair. And instead, you need to be able to have a conversation around what you need to get into the mood, get into the rhythm and the feeling of it. And if you really legitimately just don't even have a need for it, you need to go to a sex therapist and figure out why. Because that man who is with you will need that from you. And it's your marital obligation. It's your marital obligation to provide that sexual intimacy with your spouse. This is why a marriage is not even consummated unless you two have actually had intercourse. So it's important. All right, number 5, speaking to your spouse constantly with a disrespectful tone of voice. Constantly speaking to your spouse with a disrespectful tone of voice. You speak to him like he's a child. You speak to him like he's a enemy on the street. When you're mad, if you don't learn how to speak respectfully to your spouse, that is probably the number one thing you can do to kill that desire and that passion and that drive in him to want to love you and honor you. Love and affection feels like love to you, ladies, but respect feels like love to a man. A man will tell you, I don't need you to love me. I just need you to respect me. If a man can feel respected in his relationship, he feels like you truly honor him, you truly submit to him, and you truly value him. That man will go above and beyond to meet your needs. But if he's being disrespected and he's trying to be his best, he's trying to provide, he's trying to be the man that you want him to be, and those attempts are feeling to him, and feels like it's being dismissed because you don't think he's doing enough, he's not treating you well enough, you're not going to get more out of him by putting him down, shaming him, calling him out of his name. None of those things inspire the king in your husband. A disrespectful wife, or a wife who talks with a disrespectful tone of voice, will destroy her marriage, just like a cheating man will. You may be still faithful. You may not be cheating on him, but if you're disrespectful to him, that's the equivalent to how you would feel if somebody is cheating on you. That's what it feels to us men. Disrespect feels like cheating to us emotionally. He might as well be cheating, because that's how deep it cuts to us. A man's pride and a man's ego is so fragile. That's why we fight. That's why we compete. That's why we love challenges. It strokes our ego to say, I won. I'm good at that. I accomplished this. That's how God wired us. He wired us with that. So if you want to get the best out of your man, you got to learn how to speak to the king in him and not speak death into his image. You want to speak life into that man. All right. So learn how to communicate correctly if you want the best out of your husband. All right. Next one. Forgetting that friendship is what your spouse yearns for in this relationship. Forgetting that friendship is what your spouse yearns for the most in this relationship. You see, friendship is the cornerstone of any successful marriage. The reason why your husband and you connected was because of the friendship. The fact that he can talk to you, he can open up to you and share things with you without fear of judgment, criticism, without you putting him down. Because I guarantee you, if you did those things while you were dating, he would not have chosen to get married to you. Most women don't understand the deep yearning inside of a man to have their wife as their companion, their buddy. A man wants a homeboy out of their wife, not a homebody. A man wants a wife that he can share recreational activities with. The things that he enjoys to do in his downtime, he wants to be able to enjoy those things with his wife. There's nothing more romantic for a man than a wife who comes alongside him when he's doing something that he considers to be fun. Doesn't have to be romantic and exotic and all of those things. Ladies, you like that stuff. But a man, he just wants somebody that's going to have fun with him. If he likes soccer or he likes basketball or video games or whatever his recreational hobbies are, don't try to take that away from him. Because if you try to take that away from him, and because you feel like his passion for those things is taking away from his passion and his desire for you, then he's gonna feel like he's competing with you. He's gonna feel like he's competing with you and the thing he likes. When really and truly, the person he loves and the thing he likes, he wants to see the two combined, so that when he sees you and he sees this, he's not looking at this as something that's going to take away from this. He's not looking at his recreational fun as something that's going to take away from his wife, because his wife is fun. A man who sees his wife and his wife enjoys and compliments the things that he's passionate about, that man is in heaven right there. Even if you don't even like it, like let's say sports, right? A lot of guys like sports, and a lot of women are not sports savvy or interested in it. But it's cute for us to see you come in and try to say names of players that you can't pronounce, or you're trying to understand the difference between an end goal and a basket, okay? Or you're trying to connect the dots, because now I can teach you something. And for a man, once again, going back to a man being able to teach you, it allows him to feel like he is he's the head of that relationship, because you are submitting to him to actually want to learn something that you didn't know before. Okay? So yeah, friendship is huge. Another big part about the friendship aspect is that a lot of times when women get married, they get out of the friendship. I'm taking off my friendship hat now, and I'm now putting on my wife hat, and you're putting on your husband hat. And it's almost like you throw away the friendship to now say, well, we got to start acting like husband and wives. And as my husband, you're supposed to do this for me. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to please me here. And it's like all of a sudden, it's like there's this obligation and duty that you put on your spouse, When you were friends, you didn't have that obligation and duty. It was free. It was something that you did simply out of sheer delight and desire. I wanted to do it, not that I have to do it. So you don't want to take off that your friendship hat and put on your wife hat or your husband hat. No, you want to actually stay in the friend zone even after you get married. And I'm not talking about friend zone in a negative way. I'm talking about in a positive way. You all stay friends, okay? Marriage is friendship on fire. It's passionate. It's love. The only friends with benefits are married couples, okay? Stay friends, stay married, but never lose the friendship. You don't talk to your friends any old way. You don't talk to your friends nasty or disrespectful, or you won't be friends anymore. We'll start fighting. So why is it that when you get married, you think you can talk recklessly to the person that's your friend? Because if we weren't married and you talk to me like that, I'll walk out the way or I'll fight you, whatever, however that goes. So you don't want to get to that point. You want to keep the respect high, keep the adoration high, and value and cherish the friendship, because that is the glue of your marriage. All right, is that helping you? All right, we have a few more left. All right, I think we're down to now our top three. Number three, making your spouse pay for the mistakes of your ex. Making your spouse pay for the mistakes of your ex. Now, this is something that you should have handled in premarital counseling. This is something that you should have taken care of before you said I do. Yet and still, so many people get married, never really unearthed, unpacked, or dealt with unresolved issues from previous relationships. Then they get married and they still carry that baggage and carry that pain and carry those wounds into the new relationship. And as a result of that, you take out on your spouse things that he did not do to you. You treat him like your ex. And that's not fair. And this is why you need to, when you're single, that's the time that you heal and you grow so that you can come into your next relationship, which is your marriage, ready, willing, and able to serve and meet the needs of your spouse without feeling the sting of the pain of the past. All right. Top two. Now we're down to number two. This is a big one, especially you can see it with this generation, millennial generation specifically. Treating your boss with more respect than your spouse. Treating your boss with more respect than your spouse. Okay? Women today, especially the independent woman, will say, I'm not submitting to no man. I'm not going to let him tell me what to do. I'm my own woman. I can do what I want to do and move how I want to move. And even if we're married, he doesn't make more money than me, so he can't tell me what to do. And all sorts of garbage that does not apply to marriage. Okay? When you said I do, your husband has taken an oath and a vow to be the head of your life, to be the leader in your life. Once you move away, once you've made that vow, you've made a decision that your spouse will be an authority in your life. And authority coexists with responsibility. All it simply means is that he has a responsibility of taking care of you, whether that's emotionally, physically, financially, the whole package. So he deserves respect. He deserves honor simply because of the role that he now has chosen to play in your life. How does this apply with your boss? Well, the same people who will say, I'm not going to let my man tell me what to do, will let their boss tell them what to do. Your boss tells you, hey, I need this report in by 8 p.m. You don't give any back talk. You don't go back and forth. You say yes, sir, or yes, ma'am, and you get it done. Now, this person who was your boss at your job is not your boss at home. However, you allow this person to tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and you do it because you are a good employee. But now, if your husband asks you to do something and you choose not to do it, it's a big problem. That's not fair. And you need to stop and consider your ways. The same thing may happen even in a church. A lot of men don't go to church for this reason, that they might see their wife listen to their pastor, come home, brag about what their pastor taught them, talk about everything that happened at church, and then that part, your spouse then feels like, well, you're listening to the pastor more than me. You're rather go to church and let this person tell you what to do and not me. You see that? It causes that man once again to feel like you're putting someone above him. All right? Which leads me to the final mistake. The number one mistake that a lot of women make in their marriages is this. Watch this. Putting their children above their husband. Putting their child or putting their children above their husband. This is one of the biggest mistakes that women make, especially if you had a child before you got married. And it makes sense to you, ladies, because you're hearing me as like, what? Yeah, my child comes before my husband. Before there was him, it was me and my child. And it's my job as a wife, or as a mother, I should say, to take care of that child. Absolutely, it is 100%. You're the nurturer. But here's the order. What's more important? Your children or your spouse in the area of relationship and connection has to be your spouse. Why? Because your spouse is a lifelong commitment. You're married for the rest of your life. Your children, when they get grown and they get old enough, they're going to go out and start their own family. They're going to have their own children. They're going to have their own life. And then it's just going to be you two again. So if you don't make sure that the connection between you and your spouse is healthy, is right, it's genuine, and you all are connected, then what's going to happen is you're going to pour out your time, your energy, your resources into making sure your children are good, and then your marriage is going to fall apart. Your children, yes, they ought to be taken care of by the both of you. But when you're in a marriage and when you two are committed, what needs to happen is that your child and your children has to see you honoring and respecting your husband. You have to model that. If we set a table, who's supposed to eat first, the child or the husband? Well, we're supposed to all eat together, right? But let me say it. If you set the table, whose plate should be prepared first, or whose plate you should be wondering how this plate is going to be set up. Your spouse's or your husband's plate should be the first plate on your mind. Not that he eats first, not that you don't give your children their food first, but what I'm saying is if you make sure your kids have everything they want on a plate, and then when it comes to the husband, it's treated like, I'll just put some rice there, I'll put some chicken there, he'll be fine. But you put intentional care and thought into setting the plate for your kids. Something is wrong there. Because your children are also going to see that you're not honoring or respecting dad or your husband. And you're also teaching your children, if you have a daughter, you're modeling to her how she should treat a man. If you have a son, you're showing your son that he's not supposed to be expected to be respected. This is why back in the day, you watch grandma, she would come, she would set the table, and she would make sure grandpa's plate is set first. We forgot about that. It wasn't just about the food. It's about the principle of headship, order, respect. It's bigger than the food. Your children are with you. So they're about 18, 21, 25 years old, maybe 30 years old, however long they stay with you. But after that time, your husband and your husband and this spouse, this relationship, this marriage, that's what's going to last forever. If you take care of your spouse and prioritize him above your children. The Bible says, children, obey your parents in the Lord. Honor your father and your mother. So the honor must start at the top. And the children have to model that honor that's displayed between the mother and the father, between the husband and the wife, so that they can also understand what it means to honor. They have to see it first. Okay? Don't put your kids above your spouse. Let them see marriage in a healthy way. Okay? That's when they will understand there is order. Then they will learn to respect authority outside of the home because they see authority being respected inside of the home. Okay? So those were the 7 big mistakes that women make in their marriage. Let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Make sure you push the subscribe button and share this. There's going to be more wisdom that I'm going to be sharing from on a weekly basis. And remember, my book, A Match Made in Heaven, 6 Spiritual Laws for Lasting Love and Connection, is now available. I can't wait to share more with you. Can't wait to hear from you. And I want to build a relationship with you. So let me know if you have any questions. If you want me to cover any topic, let me know in the comment section below. Much love. I'm believing that this year will be a year that you will see heaven in your love life, and that you will begin to experience heaven in your home. All right? Love you all. God bless you. Stay blessed. Stay in love. Walk in love. See you soon.